Hello, students. Welcome to the seventh topic of this course, Edu721, Psychology of Learning. Here, we are treating the topic of motivation in learning and its implications for classroom and its implications in classroom situation. In a nutshell, motivation is the why of behavior. It is the reason why people do the things they do. Let me ask you, what is it that motivates your behavior? What motivated you to enroll in now for a postgraduate degree program? There are different reasons why people do the things they do. In this lesson, we're going to be learning about the concept of motivation and how it is influenced, and also how the class teacher can motivate students in their classroom. Sit back and enjoy the class, the lesson. Yeah, motivation in learning and its implications in classroom situations. Okay. After completing this lesson, you'll be able to define motivation, be able to distinguish between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Should be able to discuss some theories that describe motivation in learning and discuss how teachers can motivate students in classroom situations. Let's start off with the definition of motivation. What is motivation? Motivation can be defined as an inspiration that propels someone into an action. It is the eagerness and willingness to do something. It is the reason why an individual would want to do something. That fighting spirit within an individual that is urging that person to do something. Motivation describes the wants and needs that direct behavior towards a goal. You want to achieve a goal, and something in you is propelling you to go towards achieving that goal. This means that when people are motivated, they will work tirelessly to achieve their inspirations. Yes, you wouldn't want to rest. Once you are motivated, you want to fight to achieve your inspiration, your goals. Can also be defined as the driving force that initiates, guides, and maintains goal-oriented behaviors. It is what causes us to take action. So all these are different ways of defining the concept of motivation. The driving forces that lie beneath motivation can be biological, social, emotional, or cognitive in nature, as we shall see in this lesson. Yeah, types of motivation. There are two types of motivation, namely intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation refers to motivation that comes from within the individual. Intrinsic motivation is the driving force within the individual, which propels him or her into emitting certain behavior. It is something within the individual that energizes behavior and gives it direction towards a goal. We are motivated intrinsically when we do something for reasons such as interest, enjoyment, pleasure and satisfaction. You are doing something for these different reasons, for the interest of that thing, for the enjoyment of that thing, for the pleasure of that thing, for the satisfaction of that thing you are doing. Okay, an example of an intrinsically motivated student is one who reads simply because he sees value in reading. He sees value in reading, or he sees reading as an interesting activity, or he sees reading as something that gives him or her the enjoyment or pleasure, or a sense of personal satisfaction. So anything you are doing for these reasons, for the reason of interest, enjoyment, pleasure, satisfaction, can be regarded as being motivated by intrinsic motivation. A student who is intrinsically motivated may carry out a task because of the enjoyment he or she derives from that task. So we are saying the same thing, giving examples, different ways of saying how one can be intrinsically motivated. Okay. What about extrinsic motivation? It is the motivation that arises from sources outside the individual. Extrinsic motivation is the incentive that drives an individual's behavior towards a goal, an incentive. There is an incentive that is driving your behavior towards a goal, towards reaching a goal. It is something outside the person that energizes that person. For instance, money can be that incentive. Fame, power, these are the things inciting you, energizing that behavior, energizing or pushing you to behaving or doing something to achieve a goal. So you are doing that thing because of the money you will get from it, or because of fame, or because of power. A student that is extrinsically motivated will execute an action in order to obtain some reward or avoid punishment or avoid some sanctions. If you're doing something just because you want to avoid anybody bashing you or anybody punishing you or giving you sanctions, then you are doing it for extrinsic reasons. If you are doing something because you're going to get a reward from it, the reward can be in form of money, can be in form of fame, it can be in form of power, it can be in form of you want to subdue somebody, you want to show that you are powerful, you have arrived. These are the things you do, and it will be regarded that it is extrinsic. You are being motivated by extrinsic factors. For instance, a student who reads hard for the exam did so because of the desire to obtain better grade. If you do that, then you are doing that for reasons of extrinsic factor. Okay, so from this, I hope you'll be able to distinguish between the two types of motivation. So it means that motivation to engage in a given behavior can come from internal, that's intrinsic motivation, and let me put it this way. Motivation to engage in a given behavior can come from internal or external factors, or a mix of both factors. or it can be this and this put together for both factors, but one of them must dominate. Think about why you are here currently in National Open University of Nigeria, in now. Are you here because you enjoy learning and want to pursue an education to make yourself a better rounded individual? If so, then you are intrinsically motivated. However, if you are here because you want to get a university degree to make yourself more marketable for a high-paying career, to get higher pay or higher salary from your place of work, or you are doing it to satisfy the demands of your parents or spouse, then your motivation is more extrinsic in nature. Or are you motivated, or are your motivations a mix of both intrinsic and then extrinsic factors? Let us know this. Okay, so as a teacher, we should use extrinsic rewards with caution. We should use extrinsic rewards with caution because they have the potential for decreasing the existing intrinsic motivation in students. You know, one of the goals of learning, or as a teacher, we should encourage more of intrinsic factor and encourage our students to do their study or to learn for reasons such as interest, enjoyment, pleasure, and satisfaction. That should be the main or primary reason of going to school, of students learning. We should also use extrinsic rewards to also encourage students, but we should not overuse it. We should use extrinsic rewards, should be used with caution, so that it does not replace the reasons, the intrinsic reasons that students have for coming to school to learn. Okay, let's continue our discussion. Okay, I want you to pause your video and attempt this class activity. For number one, you are asked to indicate the motivation type in these sentences. The two sentences are there. Then for number two, okay, let me read out the two sentences. I will study for this exam because I really enjoy the content and reading makes me feel relaxed. What type of motivation do you think is being demonstrated here? Then the second one says, I will study for this exam because if I don't, I will receive a failed grade. So what type of motivation is also expressed in that sentence? So, and the second activity says, sometimes our motivations are often a mix of both intrinsic and extrinsic factors. Is this true? Discuss. Okay, so let's continue with the lesson discussion. Theories of motivation. You know, theories, they are important in understanding whatever concept we're learning. And the purpose of theories is to explain how these concepts are seen in the perception of psychologists, and how they are being explained, how psychologists explain the occurrences of this concept through their theories that they have carried out, an experiment that they have carried out. Okay, so we looking at Maslow's theory, hierarchy of needs theory, as a theory of motivation. There are actually two theories we're going to look at here, but we're discussing just one. The second one has been posted in your lesson notes. So we are discussing mainly Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. Why? Because of its wide application to the classroom situation. Okay, the basis of Maslow's theory is that human beings are motivated by unsatisfied needs. He argues that humans have 7 levels of needs that can be arranged in a hierarchy from the lowest to the highest. The hierarchy of needs is often portrayed in the shape of a pyramid with the lowest levels at the bottom. We will look at the image, we will look at the figure diagram of that pyramid, of that hierarchy of needs. These needs can create internal pressures when a human being expresses or experiences an unsatisfied need. This need can create internal pressures in that person that can motivate that person's behavior. And as we satisfy the lower needs, like I said, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs are arranged in a hierarchy, and it is portrayed in the shape of a pyramid with the lowest level at the bottom and the highest level at the top. As we satisfy the lower needs, they become less important and no longer serve as motivators, paving way for the next on the hierarchy. So let's look at that figure of the hierarchy of needs. Okay, here we are. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There are 7 of them. 7 hierarchy of needs. Okay, the one I indicated on the left-hand side, that's my right up. You know, when you are writing, you write from up to down. But actually, number 1 is physiological needs, and is indicated as the lowest. Remember what we said in the previous slide, that it is the lowest and it's the largest. So look at the figure on the right-hand side of this slide. Look at it. Is portrayed in the shape of a pyramid, like we said. The hierarchy of needs is portrayed in the shape of a pyramid with the lowest and the largest. The largest, you can see it at the bottom, the lowest and the largest level of need at the bottom of the pyramid. That is the physiological needs, followed by the safety needs, followed by the social needs of love and belongingness, followed by self-esteem needs, followed by cognitive needs, followed by aesthetic needs, followed by self-actualization needs. There are 7 of them, just like as I have on the left-hand side of this slide. Physiological needs, safety needs, number 2, number 3, belongingness and social needs, that's the social, belongingness and love needs, that's the social needs. Self-esteem needs, cognitive needs, number 6, aesthetic needs, number 7, self-actualization needs. Let's go on. We discussed, let's explain in more detail these 7 hierarchy of needs. Okay, the physiological needs, we said, is the most basic needs, is the most important, is the largest, is at the bottom of that that pyramid. The hierarchy is at the bottom and is the largest. Is the largest. They include the needs for water, air, food, sleep, and these needs are needed for survival. That's why it's the most important, it's the most basic. Without these needs, no human being can survive. No human being can survive without water, without air, without food, without sleep. So that's why it's regarded as the most basic and the most important of all the needs. Until these needs are fulfilled or satisfied, you will not be able to go to the next level. That is what Maslow's theory said. You have to satisfy one before you go on to two. You satisfy two before you go on to three. You satisfy three before you go on to four. You satisfy four. You cannot jump the levels. And the largest there and the most basic there being the physiological needs, which is at the bottom of the pyramid. Take, for instance, when you are very hungry, all your behavior may be motivated by the need to find food. Once you eat, the search for food ceases. Yes, we often experience this type of thing. You are hungry, you don't want to hear anything. Somebody is telling you, oh, come pick up or come attend an interview. No, you are very hungry, you are shaking, and your motivation at that moment is to look for food to eat, is to search for food. So you are motivated by the need to search for food. Once you eat, the search for food ceases. You can now listen, or the message you got or the alert you got on your phone, oh, to say, come and attend this job interview or come for something. You know, that's when you can now pay attention to it. So once you eat, the search for food ceases and the need for food no longer motivates you. At that moment, it no longer motivates you. They become less important. And then you move to the next one on the hierarchy, which is the safety and security needs. That's number 2. And this need, safety and security needs, include the need to have safe, secure, and conducive life. Before I continue with this safe and security needs, for this, since we are discussing also the classroom implications of this motivation in learning, let's look at the classroom implication of the physiological needs. What do you think will be the classroom implication here? Here, the teacher must realize that effective learning is possible only when the physiological needs of children or students have been met. For instance, a tired and hungry student will find it difficult to focus on learning. So that's the educational implication, the classroom implication. That student will find it difficult to focus on students. So the teacher must realize that it's only when the physiological needs of students have been met that they can focus on learning. So we continue with number 2 now, safety and security needs. Once physiological needs are satisfied, people tend to become concerned about safety and security needs. Okay, yeah, it includes the need to have safe and secure and conducive life. At this stage, the individual will be motivated to direct their behavior towards obtaining shelter and protection in order to satisfy their need, this need. Is there any educational implication there? Can you guess? Here we can say that students need to feel emotionally and physically safe within the classroom. If you are not safe, no learning can take place. No learning can take place in a violent situation. Okay, so let's move on. After you have satisfied this need, the school has provided safe environment for students, for learning to take place. for student safety and all. Then the next level of needs is the love and belongingness needs, the social needs. As you all know, man is a social animal. That's how it is said, man and woman. Man is a social animal. So the needs at this level will include the need to bond with other human beings. You want to bond with other human beings, the need to love and be loved. We all want that. And to have a sense of belonging. Of course, we all want that as well. At this level of need, people will like to extend their hands of fellowship to their friends, to their mates, to their course mates, to their co-workers or neighbors. And of course, you should know that if these needs are not met, the person will start feeling isolated, lonely, and depressed. Nobody wants to be a lone ranger. You don't want to live alone in life. You're not a, you don't live alone. You want to socialize with people, with your neighbors, with your co-workers, if it's a student, with your fellow students and your neighbors. So for the educational implication or classroom implication, we all know that a typical classroom consists of learners from different cultural, religious, and socioeconomic backgrounds. You have children from rich, from privileged homes or from poor backgrounds. So the teacher can aid students in the satisfaction of this need by ensuring acceptance for all students in the class, and by building a classroom environment where no one experiences social rejection. That should be the role of the teacher. Yes, that everyone in the class, in the classroom is, there is acceptance. Yeah. The teacher has to ensure acceptance for all students, irrespective of the type of background the student comes from. In that way, you are helping the student in the fulfillment of this level of need, of this need. Yeah, the number 4 level of the hierarchy, self-esteem needs. Once love and belongingness have been satisfied, esteem needs become more important. These are the things we desire, excuse me, in order that our ego will be boosted. We want to be respected by one's peers. Everyone, you know, we desire to feel important and we want to be appreciated. That's the nature of human beings. We all need all these things. Nobody wants to be put down. People will always look for ways to enjoy considerable influence from others and gain recognition. And this is why sometimes people seek validation and praise from others in order to fulfill this need. In order to fulfill this need, they acquire a big car, or they acquire a car they want to show off, show it in the social media, just to seek validation so that people can praise them. They are doing this thing just to fulfill this need, the need for self-esteem. Inability to fulfill this need will make a person feel dejected or inferior. That is, to such people, there are some people too, they might acquire these properties and may not, you know, want any validation from anybody. They just live a simple life. They don't need any validation. Those are people who are they're already self-made. The validation they need is within themselves. They don't need validation from anybody. So for those people that need validation, that need praise from others, those are the people that might feel dejected or inferior if they don't fulfill this need. But naturally, people want to feel we want to boost our ego. We want to be respected and feel important and to be appreciated also. Nobody wants to be put down, naturally, for everybody. Nobody wants to be put down or humiliated. So let's see, educational implication. I think as a teacher, you must show your student that they are valued and respected in the classroom, no matter their level of background or the type of background they come from. The teacher should also create a supportive environment. So by so doing, you are helping your students to the fulfillment of this need. So let's continue with the discussion. The fifth, sixth, seventh, the fifth one, cognitive needs. These are the needs for knowledge and understanding, for curiosity, for exploration. If you're driven by this need, you may spend most of your time watching documentaries, reading books, researching into things, and doing courseworks that are not required from school. You are just doing them for the sake of having more knowledge. If you have this need, this cognitive needs. May I add also that this seven stage, or this seven level of hierarchy of needs are the expanded hierarchy from the original 5 levels. It used to be 5 levels before. The 2 additional ones are this cognitive needs and aesthetic needs, making it 7. There used to be originally 5 levels. So cognitive need, like I said, is for the need for knowledge and understanding, and for curiosity, for exploration. Okay, so aesthetic needs. Aesthetic needs are the needs that make people to pursue or admire beautiful things. These needs include the desire of people to pursue or admire. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've said that. Example, for example, the desire for beautiful and expensive cars, houses, materials, gorgeous and expensive dresses, and beautiful materials. Educational implication. What do you think it should be? A classroom which is well decorated or adorned with beautiful charts and learning materials will be student friendly. Not everybody likes beautiful things. So we should endeavor to ensure that our classrooms are beautifully decorated with instructional materials and charts. And the student minds will always be attracted to the activities in a beautifully adorned classrooms. Yes, you want to attract your students to your classroom, make your classroom beautifully adorned with beautiful charts and learning materials and drawings. Some of the private schools do this a lot. They do this a lot, but I don't know about public schools. Yeah, so teachers in public schools, please take notes and add some beauty to your classrooms. Yeah, we come to the highest level of the hierarchy, that is self-actualization needs. Self-actualization needs refers to the realization of a person's potential. This is when you reach your full potential, the desire to accomplish everything that one can. So when you successfully, if the previous needs are successfully and sufficiently met, a person can now a person now has the opportunity to become self-actualized. At this point, the person is said to have reached the peak of his potentials or her potentials. Yes. So how many people do you know that have reached this level, the self-actualization needs level? Do you have any such person in mind? Can share it with us in the discussion forum. In general terms, the physiological needs, these 4 needs, hold on. These 4 needs, the physiological needs, safety and security needs, love and belongingness needs, and self-esteem needs, these 4 group of needs are referred to as deficiency needs. Why are they deficiency needs? Because they are the needs that must be satisfied for survival. We all need this physiological needs, safety, we need safety. Yes, we all need security and safety, even though today in Nigeria, everyone, we are being threatened by societal violence, by communal violence, by so many security threats and violence, robbery incidents, but we all need it for survival. If you're not safe, well, nobody can live without safety and security. Without safety and security, then love, we need this. So that's why it's called, this group of level of needs, these 4 are called the deficiency needs. Okay, then the other 3, these other ones, a second. Yeah, cognitive needs, aesthetic needs, self-actualization needs. This group of needs are referred to as growth needs. They are the needs that enhance the person's psychological functioning. They are the needs at the higher level of the hierarchy. They are the needs at the higher level of the hierarchy. They enhance the person's cognitive functioning. So let's continue. There's another class activity here. Can you think of recent examples of how Maslow's hierarchy of needs might have affected your behavior in some way? Share your experience with us in the discussion forum. Okay, in this lesson, you learned the concept of motivation and how it is influenced. This lesson, I hope, has prepared you for the various strategies you can employ to keep students motivated in your day-to-day classroom teaching and learning activities. This is where we call it a day. Until I come your way again is bye-bye. Thank you very much. Yeah, goodbye.